We're gathering here on Zoom, but even in a virtual setting, we like to begin our events by acknowledging that Concordia's campuses are located on unceded Indigenous lands. These lands are known as the Ganayo-Gehaga Nation. Montreal, which is also known as Jojage, was historically a gathering place for many First Nations. I mention this to you to show Concordia's continued respect and appreciation for our Indigenous and other people within the Montreal community. And now I'd like to turn things over to Rahul Ravi, who is the director of the Goodman Institute of Investment Management. So now Rahul, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nita. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to this special virtual event. This event is special because it has double significance as today we gather not only to celebrate a new cohort of Goodman alumni, but also the 20th anniversary of our program's endowment by Ned Goodman. My name is Rahul Ravi. I serve as the director of the Goodman Institute of Investment Management and have been a faculty member of John Molson School of Business since 2007. I'll be your MC for the next hour or so, and we have a wonderful event planned. Hopefully all of you will enjoy it. We are here to celebrate a group of graduates who made the most of their time at Concordia. They have overcome an unprecedented set of challenges to embark on careers in finance and investment management. Thanks to the effort they have put in to succeed in the Goodman program, I have no doubt that they will continue to distinguish themselves and make our Concordia community proud. This most recent Goodman class demonstrated tremendous maturity and perseverance, particularly since the advent of COVID-19 pandemic last year. As a result, I'm confident that future students will benefit from their experience and desire to advance the program. Allow me to extend the first of many official congratulations to our graduates. Let me now introduce our first speaker, Anne-Marie Coteau. She has served as Dean of John Molson School of Business since 2017. Under her watch, our school has made remarkable strides. John Molson's MBA program has been ranked in the top 3 in the country for return on investment, and our graduate entrepreneurship program recently made the Princeton Review Top 50, the only business school in Canada to do so. In 2020, Anne-Marie announced a comprehensive 5-year plan for the John Molson School, guided by a vision to be one of the most relevant, responsible, and respected business schools in the world. So let's hear from our Dean now, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, over to you.
Merci beaucoup, Rahul. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Thank you, Rahul, for referring to our vision, which is something we strongly believe in. Chers diplômés, invités, Messieurs Daniel et David Goodman, Président Carr, c'est avec grand plaisir que je vous souhaite à tous et à toutes la bienvenue à cet événement virtuel en l'honneur de notre nouvelle cohorte des MBA en gestion de placement. Je salue plus particulièrement Madame Lucy Wong qui s'est joint à nous ce soir. Lucy, it's good to have you with us. So nice to see you. Dear students, I congratulate you on your exceptional performance for having overcome the difficult challenges that you were presented with this past year, as Rahul just said. When we look at the immense success our graduates experience, it is clear why this program is so sought after by many high-quality students. I can't wait to hear from a few of them tonight. The John Molson Goodman Institute MBA in Investment Management is the only program that includes 100% of the CFA charter materials in its curriculum, ensuring that students leave Concordia with both a world-class MBA and the toolbox to help them attain a CFA charter. The program was well established as a result of a generous donation by Investment Legion, Mr. Ned Goodman. Since 2001, the Institute's flagship program continues to thrive, with our students consistently outperforming their global CFA candidate peers on the CFA examinations, with pass rates that are typically double the worldwide worldwide pass rate of the CFA Level 1 exam. This is amazing. And on that note, I'd like to thank all the faculty members involved in the teaching. The quality that they give to our students make a huge difference. And of course, to our students who prepare for this very seriously. Dear graduates, joining you today to honor your accomplishments are your fellow alumni who each have achieved incredible success as a result of hard work, perseverance, and a prestigious and world-recognized MBA degree. To Danielle and David, thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate our students' success. I extend my deepest thanks for the foresight your father, Ned Goodman, had with his transformational gift in 2001. 20 years later, the program is stronger than ever, all thanks to his generosity and constant support. It is now my pleasure to introduce Concordia's University President and Vice Chancellor, Mr. and Dr. Graham Carr. Graham, I want to say that it's an honor to have you with us tonight. It's always a pleasure to see you at our events. I see that you value what we do, you value our programs, you value the contribution of our donors, our supporters. It's great to have you with us tonight. Up to you now, Graham. Thank you.
Merci Anne-Marie, and merci tout le monde d'être ici, même virtuellement. And it is truly a pleasure to be part of celebratory events at the John Molson School of Business. And as Raul said, this is a great double header tonight. And so let me be the third person in the last 5 minutes to congratulate this year's graduates. You're not only joining the largest graduation class ever at Concordia University, which is a pretty remarkable accomplishment under the conditions of COVID, but this spring we had our largest graduating number of students ever. But obviously you, as members of the Goodman program, are joining a very elite group of our Concordia alumni. You're in the company of graduates, many of whom are with us this afternoon, this evening, who've gone on to become leaders at top firms here in Canada, but also internationally, whether that's the Caisse de Dépôt or BlackRock or all of Canada's major banks and a host of top asset management firms. And Anne-Marie alluded to this at the beginning, but I think that success comes thanks to the very rigorous program that's been put in place over the last 20 years. And that was, as I understand, based on Ned's original vision. And it's allowed us to attract really the crème de la crème of students year over year. Yes, the unbelievable success in the terms of the pass rate on the CFA exams is a really good data point for the success of the program, but it's also what the graduates have gone on to do afterwards and the contributions that they've made to the business community and to society as a whole, which is truly, I think, the best mark, the best legacy of this program. And you know, it's no surprise, knowing a bit about Ned Goodman's history, that this business pioneer came up with a pioneering double certification idea for the Goodman program. Today, Concordia likes to style itself as a next-gen university. This was a next-gen idea 20 years ago. And it was then, and it continues to be, a key differentiator for the John Molson School of Business by comparison with other business schools across the country and internationally. And it's helped the John Molson School of Business steadily climb in the rankings, as Raul referenced, with the MBA program, for instance, ranked 67th by The Economist of all MBA programs in the world. And that too has helped Concordia be ranked as the top university less than 50 years old in North America, not 1 year, but 2 years in a row. Now, all of this is the result of generous philanthropy, and philanthropy is a big part of Ned Goodman's life. He's demonstrated his generosity, not just to Concordia, but to a number of other universities. And speaking of generous philanthropists, I'd be remiss if I didn't also thank Rick Renault, who's joined us here this evening. It was Rick, more than 20 years ago, who introduced Ned to Concordia. And clearly, I think Ned understood then, and I think David and Daniel understand now, and I'm very grateful to the support of the family that one of the best investments that any society can make is an education. So my heartfelt thanks to the Goodman family for their steadfast support of Concordia. And it's going, this program, which is a jewel for Concordia, remains key to our role and our ambition to be a next generation university. To the grads, once more, bravo on all of your accomplishments. I hope everybody enjoys the evening. Merci beaucoup. And Raul, back to you now.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you, Anne-Marie, both of you, for your comments, remarks. We have 2 videos planned for you this afternoon. The first pays tribute to the namesake of our institute. 2 decades ago, investor and philanthropist Ned Goodman announced a landmark gift to advance a noble MBA CFA program at the John Molson School. The 20th anniversary tribute video celebrates the success of the Goodman Institute of Investment Management and commemorates our visionary benefactor. Neda, can we roll the video? Wow, that was nice. Wonderful. I hope we all took pride in the tribute. I now have the privilege to introduce Ned Goodman's sons, David and Daniel Goodman. David and Daniel are successful investment managers in their own right. In 2001, David Goodman became president and chief executive officer of Goodman and Company, the home of dynamic funds. He later assumed the helm of Dundee Wealth. Under David's stewardship, Dundee Wealth was recognized as the fund company of the year, a record 7 times, and was honored with more Lipper Fund awards than any other firm. Assets under management grew from 5 billion to approximately 50 billion until the fund's sale to the Bank of Nova Scotia in 2011. David is currently a stand-up comedian affiliated with UPO comedy clubs. His passion for performing stand-up comedy extends into his philanthropic activities. David is the founder of the Humor Me which has to date raised over 16 million support of some very deserving causes, but reinventing himself. Daniel Goodman has a remarkable track record as an investment manager as well, the founder and the CEO of GFI Investment Council. He has spent more than 2 decades as a senior executive investment manager and investor. Daniel founded GFI in 2007 to create an investment council with a relentless focus on client service, performance, and transparency. He also worked as a lecturer in finance at the Schulich School of Business in Toronto and served on the board of directors of Dundee Corporation. So over to you, David and Daniel.
I guess I'm going to kick it off. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Raul, and congratulations to all the graduates. I'm not going to lie to you. My excitement to participate in this event went down several notches after our Toronto Maple Leafs historic choke to the Montreal Canadiens nights ago. I was seriously contemplating canceling on that as Game 7 ended, but it's too important to honor the Goodman Institute's 20th anniversary celebration. My dad, Ned Goodman, is so proud and passionate of the program that he helped create and which bears his name. He truly was a visionary. He pushed boundaries in business and education, and wasn't prepared to take no for an answer when he had an idea. This combined CFA MBA program was the absolute first of its kind in the world, I believe, since many copycats have followed. My dad achieved great success in business and family, and he felt incredibly fortunate to have the opportunities he had wanted, and he wanted the same for other people who were hungry to achieve, to have those same opportunities. My dad certainly carried a big weight while we were carving out our professional careers, and it wasn't always easy. But from my earliest days working to just last week, I encounter people who my dad touched and left a mark on. And it was never really what he said to people, but rather it was how he made people feel. Just last week, I met with a recent widow who shared how my father worked with her and helped her in numerous ways to develop her own business. She never forgot and shared these 30-year-old stories with me last week as if they had occurred yesterday. I cannot tell you how many graduates of this very program have come up to me to share their stories of how my father helped shape their lives. A recently honored graduate and alumni, Vishal Patel, 2005 grad, was so incredibly appreciative of my dad, from attending Berkshire Hathaway meetings to supporting his career development. And he was recently written up in, I think it's your alumni magazine. And he believes his success, while obviously driven certainly by himself, he believes it was partly attributable to this program and Ned Goodman. In the feature story, I'll quote you. He said, "Ned Goodman made time for me even when I was a summer intern. This helped fuel my career." My dad was a handshake guy. To him, a deal is a deal. And he certainly taught all of us that character and integrity always trumps profit, growth, and cash flow. He was not afraid to be David fighting Goliath. He certainly, when he felt it right, he picked battles that were difficult to imagine winning, and certainly some of his long shots came in. You can see numerous examples of this throughout his career. He was fighting the discount brokerage community who were receiving trailer fees from the mutual fund companies long before there were robo-advisors and Wealthsimple. He fought the banks numerous times when he felt they abused their power to compete unfairly. He certainly, you can recall, he fought and won as a small resource company against one of the largest mining companies in existence at the time in a case of fiduciary duty. The Corona versus Lack court case set precedents to define what fiduciary duty and, quite honestly, a handshake meant. And this certainly goes to the heart of the CFA program and what it stands for in training investment professionals. Professionally, he left a mark by thinking creatively and uniquely in a way that others didn't. Really, he was a true entrepreneur who, when convicted in his beliefs, pursued them regardless of the resistance and difficulty. At times, quite honestly, he reminded me of Steve Jobs when I did work with him in terms of that focus and that relentless pursuit of things that he was going after, that it was certainly an uphill battle. You know, when you love what you do, you haven't worked a day in your life. And my dad loved his job, and he really loved and loves this program. He's so proud to have seen it develop, and would be even more proud of where it stands today. And quite honestly, it wouldn't be true to our story as a family or Concordia and the Goodman Institute of Investment Management without highlighting another Concordia grad. My mom, Anita Goodman, graduated from Concordia. She was the first in her family to get a degree, and she did so while raising 4 boys. If that's not true grit and perseverance, I really don't know what is. She stood by my dad through thick and thin, and all of us have succeeded by standing on her able and always available shoulders from an early age and quite honestly, ongoing. We're so grateful to Concordia University and the Goodman Institute of Investment Management, and I'm proud to be able to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the program. It's achieved so much for so many people from all walks of life, and it's just absolutely wonderful. You know, my parents did a fantastic job raising me. I'm the youngest of 4 boys. They certainly did it through trial and error, and I was blessed by all the early errors, and David was the second oldest growing up, so it was those errors that I received the benefit of, and he had to, of course, become the tremendous success he is independently and naturally, and he's got diverse talents. He's certainly been a mentor of mine for far too long, and like my mom, he's filled with grit and passion, and my dad, of course, and has achieved success at home and professionally. So I know David wants to share some words and stories with you. So with that, over to you, David.
Thank you, my brother. That was just so lovely. And really thank you for talking about our mother, who is the only person I know who's actually tougher than my dad. Faculty, those in service of Concordia, and students, thank you for inviting us here today to honor my father and the Goodman Institute of Investment Management. Let me start by honoring the school. It was 20 years ago that the Goodman Institute was created, and I remember at that time, my dad telling me, I'm putting the name Goodman on it so that our entire family can be proud of this first of its kind institution. It was about 5 years before that I studied like crazy to earn my CFA. I was not happy that 10 years after earning a commerce degree, I was forced to study accounting again. I believe seeing me and my brothers trot our way through the body of knowledge after earning business degrees is what inspired my dad to come up with the concept of combining the CFA with the MBA. Our connection to the CFA program runs deep. 3 out of 4 brothers have obtained the CFA designation. And as Montrealers know, in Maple Leaf country, we stop at 3. But the next generation is already at 2, and soon to be at 3, because we have one of the grandchildren wrote level 3 yesterday. In the early years, when I was running Goodman and Company and Dynamic Funds, we made every new hire take the CFA exam. And it was not just for the body of knowledge. We also believed that membership into the professional designation brought an element of camaraderie to our group. As a family-run organization, we loved the fact that there was an ethical component to the program. Understanding fiduciary obligations and managing conflicts of interest were crucially important to us, and membership in the CFA Institute promoted these values. So I congratulate each and every one of you for your commitment to this field, for your commitment to this noble profession of investment management, for your study, for your dedication to being a member of the CFA Institute. It's been 20 years and it keeps getting better. Now to my dad. It's sad that my dad can't be with us for this call. Being honored, especially by young people, was one of his favorite things. The exponential growth of this school over the last 20 years has also coincided with the decline in his health and intellectual capacity. He's 83, and as of last week, is enjoying his summer at his beautiful cottage with my faithful and strong mother by his side and with 2 shots of Pfizer in his arm. He's able to experience great joy. He loves his family. He loves his newborn great-grandson, and he loves the music of Frank Sinatra. I worked with my dad for a long time, and I got to witness him in his prime. In the early 1990s, we'd put on annual meetings together. We'd do road shows together, and I helped him with a few lines for his speeches for many years. So I'm going to do my best to convey to you what I think my dad would have wanted to convey. To start off his presentation, he would say something nice about Daniel and me. This is how my family compliments each other. He was not big on compliments in private. There had to be at least 100 people present for him to heap praise on his son. So in this format, he would express how proud he is of Daniel for building a first-class money management organization, and he would let everyone know that he runs our family's money, and he's done an amazing job. I think one of my dad's great personality traits was his capacity for forgiveness. Now, don't get me wrong, he was a tough guy. He did not suffer fools easily. But if he saw that a mistake was made, he would not take advantage of it. Instead, he would try and make that mistake a catalyst for positive change. I remember when I was 6 years old and my older brother and his friend Michael Cohn were in the backyard playing golf. My dad let them have little golf clubs and lectured them on how they could chip, but never bring the club back farther than your knee. These were not plastic clubs. These were real metal clubs. And then he told me I was too young to go with them. So I cried and I begged, and I must confess that is a great strategy that I should probably have kept doing well into adulthood. And he finally relented, but he was clear that I was not allowed to bring the club back past my knee. Promise me you will not bring the club past your knee. I promise, I promise. No full swings, just chipping, not past my knee, I told him. As soon as I got into the backyard, I took that club and gave it a rip like Tiger Woods. The club went past my knee. It went past my shoulder and right into Michael Cohn's head. I was scared for Michael, but I was more terrified of what my dad would do to me. Michael would be fine after a few stitches, but me, I was terrified of what my dad would do. And what he did, he said to me, I know you made a promise and you broke it and you feel terrible. I know you hurt your friend and you feel terrible. That's punishment enough. Just remember, when you make a promise, keep it. I keep that club in my office as a reminder of that important lesson. And if ever I consider deviating from my word, I sometimes give myself a slight graze in the head with this old 7-arm that unfortunately hit Michael Cohn. And I keep it as a reminder of that important lesson. And I saw him take that same strategy when one of our executives had made a mistake that cost the company millions of dollars. The executive came into his office feeling terrible and tendered his resignation. And my dad refused to accept it. He felt the executive had learned from the mistake and would be a better executive because of the mistake. I believe my dad would encourage all of you as you navigate your way through the world to practice forgiveness when you can. It seems in short supply in this world, where every day we read stories about mistakes, retribution, and blame. Ask yourself this question. Would you rather hire someone who has already made the biggest mistake of their life, or someone who has yet to make it and will likely make it after you hire them? My dad was not afraid to make mistakes. In the early years of my money management career, I was given the responsibility to turn around the investment performance of our funds, which were lagging. And my dad gave me a book. The book's title was Whoever Makes the Most Mistakes Wins. It's a story about how mistakes led to great achievements, like the 3M crazy glue that didn't stick, so they turned it into sticky notes. He would want all of you to be fearless innovators and go for it. Forgive mistakes when you can. Turn them into opportunities for growth. That applies to the mistakes of others, and more importantly, to your own. My dad loved growth, and I believe this was nurtured by his immigrant grandfather, who was a farmer. He taught my dad how to plant a seed and watch it grow. It's much different. It's not much different than the way he started companies, and he started many. He would plant, he'd plant an idea, a seed, and nurture the company to give it every opportunity to grow. On weekends, my dad was an avid gardener, creating exceptional gardens at his cottage. At work, he was also an exceptional gardener, planting seeds of ideas that over time became quite substantial. He'd want all of you to be gardeners of your growth in your professions, to plant seeds, challenge the status quo, and seek professional and personal growth. Growth to my dad involves building something. It's much different than tearing things down. Very early in my career, I had ambitions to be an activist investor like Carl Icahn or T. Boone Pickett. My dad had some success in proxy fighting, in the proxy fighting business in his early days. And I thought, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. So my dad took me aside and reminded me why I left a career in commercial litigation. It was because to be good at litigation, you need to look backwards and assess fault. In business, he said, you have to look forwards and assess opportunity. Why would you want to fight with people all the time? Instead, he asked me to help him build Dynamic and Dundee. My dad loved growth, whether it was personal or professional. 18 years ago, when I was 40, I decided I was going to try my hand at stand-up comedy. I was nervous about it because I was the CEO of a large money manager, and I was worried that our competitor would use this weird pursuit against our business interests. So I didn't tell anyone. A couple of nights a week, I'd stay late at the office, and I'd sneak out late at night to comedy clubs and open mics to try out my jokes. I did this for 2 years, and I started to get some laughs. I was worried that word would get out, so I decided that I would tell my dad before someone else did. I didn't know what his reaction would be. Would he tell me I'm nuts? Seriously, who wants to have their money managed by a 40-year-old clearly having a midlife crisis? Well, that's not how my dad saw it. My dad saw it as growth. He intended to tell everyone. One day at our top producers conference in Vegas, my dad, we were at the conference, and without asking my permission, he took the stage and he announced my hobby from the stage to our 500 best clients and their wives, and brought me to the stage to do 5 minutes of stand-up, and they loved it. And that is how I played the Bellagio. 20 years later, that seed of a CEO doing stand-up has allowed me to grow Humor Me into a company that produces a comedy show that takes high-profile business leaders and gets them to perform 5 minutes of original stand-up comedy in front of a live audience, all in competition for the Bubba Mary Trophy, named after my dad's mother, Mary Goodman. This charity event has raised and given away over $16 million to some incredible causes. My dad saw the seed and he watered it. As far as growth is concerned, I have no doubt that his commitment to the Goodman Institute was his way of planting a seed that would grow to become beautiful and strong long after he's gone. On behalf of the Goodman family, Daniel and I congratulate you all on the 20th anniversary of this program and wish all of you health, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you. Over to you, Rahul.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you, Daniel. In fact, those were beautiful words. And if we were in person, I would raise a toast to growth. It's always a pleasure to hear from members of the Goodman family, and I can say for all our students and alumni here, present today. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate your words. The second video we have planned for you for today helps celebrate our MBA program through the lens of two of our most recent standout graduates, Adrika Khandelwal and Vincent Lasad. Adrika and Vincent distinguished themselves while in the program, and I have no doubt that they will do so as finance professionals as well. So let's hear from our two graduates now. Nida.
I fell on the Goodman program that's a combination of the MBA and the CFA, and to me it seemed like the best of both worlds, really. I think it's a huge stepping stone for me and for anybody, you know, in the program to head to the next level when they want to, you know, enter the workforce in finance. The last 3 years, I can say confidently that I've gained so much knowledge and so much exposure to different things and different theories and different avenues in finance that I wouldn't have come across otherwise. Through that, I would also say that I've formed a group of friends and a network that I think will be very successful in the industry moving forward. And I think that specific factor is invaluable for a degree like this.
I'm originally from Mumbai, India, and I came to Toronto just to pursue this program. In terms of my experience in the program, it has been great so far. I have learned a lot, not only in terms of my technical knowledge or the academic background, but also my interpersonal skills. So I think I've made really good friends, not only in my batch, but also my juniors and my seniors as well. That is something that has actually provided a very enriching experience. All the professors that have taught me since year 1 in the program have been amazing, and I'm more than grateful to all of them for the assistance they have provided, the motivation they provide in terms of the learning, how open they are in terms of pushing us to speak up in class or interact with them. That is kind of amazing for students like us who come from different backgrounds. That is something that actually I really appreciate.
Thank you very much, Anita. It was wonderful to hear from our graduating cohort representatives. Next, we have two of our alumni. In fact, we are privileged to have two Goodman alumni here with us to share some thoughts with our graduates this afternoon. Sam Muniz was part of the first Goodman class and graduated with his MBA in 2004. Over his career, he has held roles at National Bank and UBS Canada, and at Concordia as Goodman Institute lecturer. Since 2014, Sam has served as president and CEO of Altium Wealth Architecture, an independent firm that provides investment management and family office services. Cameron Baker was also a member of the first Goodman class 2 decades ago, and as managing director, head of equities at Laurentian Securities, Cameron has extensive experience in all facets of institutional business administration. He is responsible for Laurentian Bank securities research, sales and trading, and investment banking. He also possesses diverse operational capital market experience, and we are thrilled that Sam and Cameron have agreed to address us today. Sam, Cameron, over to you.
Thank you, Raoul. Bon après-midi ou bon début de soirée à tout le monde. First, let me start by congratulating everybody. It's unbelievable to think that it's already been 20 years. God, I'm 42 years old already. Who would have thought? So, a lot to say. I joined the program back in 2001 with Cameron, with Oliver Balayani that is attending tonight, Mike Svensson that I saw. I really liked your beer, Mike. It was the first year of the program. It was kind of a gamble, but at the same time, knowing that it was backed by John Molson, by Concordia, by the Goodman family, C'était des facteurs décisionnels. We were 22, year one, not truly knowing what to expect. Year two, we ended up being 11. And the success rate as of year two was 100%. Year two, 100%. Year three, 100%. And we graduated 11 people. And that kind of set the stone for the level of excellence and of rigor expected. Most of us, including Cam, we were all working full-time, studying full-time, Wednesday nights, Saturdays all day. And our life really revolved over 3 years around working full-time, studying full-time, and sleeping 4 to 5 hours a day. Back then, I was at National Bank of Canada. I went on to join UBS Canada. I was executive director. I helped them build their key client business in Eastern Canada, mainly working with very wealthy local private families that had over $40–50 million. Great experience. And in 2013, I decided to start my own firm, my own multi-family office. It's already been 8 years. Altium today takes care of Canadian families across the country. We bring an institutional expertise to private clients and various family office services. So what can I say about the program? It's been a huge plus for me. I know it's been a huge plus for many of my colleagues in terms of learning how the industry works, the rigor that was expected of us, the quality of the teachers, the quality of faculty members, and the friends that are more than friends and colleagues today. They're partners, they're almost family. And, you know, knowing that you have allies across the industry, across firms, with whom you're able to have des conversations officieuses is an enormous plus in this industry. So I've said a lot. Cam, over to you, and we'll make it interactive at a point.
Thanks, Sam. Where do I start? So there's two sides of a business. One is the investment management side, which is very well represented by all the speakers this evening. And I'm on that other side. I'm on what feeds that beast, which is the investment banking side. Overall, when I was a young person, I was struggling to find a program that would allow me to write the CFA and take a graduate education.
I think that Cam had technical issues.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for him to come back. I'll jump in again. I came back to teach at the program back in 2011, 2012, 13, I believe. Teaching at the program was a wonderful experience, which I would have loved to continue for a lot longer, but it was really linked to time constraints that I stopped. But I was able to witness almost 7–8 years ago how the program developed, and the quality of the curriculum, the teachers, and the students that really were local students, global students, and that allows us today that have a group of alumni that is really spread across the world. Once again, I keep coming back to the importance and the value of that, circle of trust, and those, people that went through the same rigor, the same discipline, the same program, and on whom you're able to rely locally and globally. As of the Goodman family, thank you for avoir pris cette initiative, pour avoir lancé ce programme. The faculty, thank you, John Molson, same. And I saw Lucy Wong. Lucy, it's great to see you. I hope that you're doing great. I saw Alan Hogstein. I saw Sandra Betten. I saw Ellen Lord. It's all, great to see you attend today. Thank you for this. There's a lot, while I'm waiting for Cam to come back, that I can continue to say about the program. It's a demanding program. It will test your resilience. It will test your capacities, but you will come out of it a stronger and bigger person in terms of knowledge, in terms of understanding of the industry. When I joined, I knew very little about how the financial industry in Canada works and where I wanted to be within that financial industry. And I have to say that 20 years later, Cam, I'll finish on that note. 20 years later, having the luxury and the blessing of running my own firm locally across Canada and having, wonderful team members, clients, and going back to the values that the Goodman we're talking about, we're very, very value driven and principle driven is a privilege. Alors, Cameron, maintenant que tu es de retour, je te recède la parole.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, finally. Sorry about that, everybody. I won't bore you with the initial start-off details. I'm sure Sam's plugged the holes. We're used to fixing problems. That's what you do when you come out of this. Overall, when you find a program that allows you to follow a dream, that's something that you got to take advantage of. You wake up one morning knowing you require education that's greater than you have. You are required to pay for that yourself. So you need to find a way to go get that education and put it together. And lo and behold, Ned creates a program that allows you to do that. So Sam's talked about, the friends that you make, the colleagues that you make. What I'd like to sort of just get into people's heads a bit here is this is a toolbox for you. You've gone and chased it down. It's something that you can improve yourself with constantly, keeping in touch with your friends and your other alumni. It gives you something, almost a hub and spoke model, that you can draw from at any opportunity. So what I'd like to say is don't waste that. We, as a graduating class in the first year, had the privilege of learning from some outstanding teachers. A lot of them are on this line. Sandra's on this line. Alan's on this line. We see them around every once in a while. We're proud to be part of it. We can be in communication with that. We get invited back to speak, so we can impart the things we've learned and continue improving. You will have no fear when you graduate out of this program and tackling a problem. It's impossible. You will have all the tools that you require. So that one day that you face what you think is an unsolvable problem, remember that you've got the tools in your toolkit. And instead of that, you being locked in that room with the problem, that problem's locked in the room with you. That's where we learned how to take on the things that we need to do in life. Ned gave us that opportunity. The Goodman Institute gave us that opportunity. John Molson School of Business continues to support that. And it's something that I think we should all be very proud of. Sam and I are very happy to have spoken on behalf of the Institute. And myself, a special shout out to Ned. I've worked for the man. I think he is an incredible individual. I've worked with David before. I think he's a good man, a good individual. You're very lucky to have this wrap up and all of this opportunity to network. And I think you should all take advantage of that. So with no further closing comments, unless you had anything to say, Sam, I'd hand it back to Nita.
You might simply want to say hello to Mike Svensson, the chairman, and Oliver Belliani that are also, attending.
Spenny and Ollie, always a pleasure. I look forward to getting a beer with you guys once this COVID crap stops.
Nothing to add on my part, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. Thanks, Cameron. It's quite impressive how we have all become digital natives, and how effortlessly Sam was able to take over when Cameron experienced the technical difficulty. In fact, a part of the new reality that we live in today. In fact, I just wanted to mention before I go ahead. In fact, it's really nice, apart from Lucy and the other names that I mentioned, we also have Marilyn. So the students who were in Toronto and alumni and students, in fact, I'm sure all of you have a lot to thank Marilyn for, and it's great to see her there. So this concludes our virtual event to celebrate our graduates and the 20th anniversary of the Goodman Institute of Investment Management. Thank you, President Carr. Thank you, Dean Couto. Thank you, David. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you to all our alumni who are present. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Cameron. And thank you to all our guests who are present here. And last but not the least, once again, congratulations to all our graduates. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance here today. Have a wonderful evening.